Students, this is the second video in the series. We're looking at the Lesson 5 Review of Inequalities from Unit 3. I'm going to go down to the Interpreting Solutions to Inequalities section. Hopefully you did these already, but if not, pause the video, try this first one, and then we'll see if you got it right. In order to determine which number is in the solution set of this inequality, we're going to first solve the inequality and then see which of these numbers can be substituted in the inequality and make it true. First step in solving is subtract 3 on both sides. We're going to use inverse operations just like we did from the do now. Last step is to get this x isolated by dividing both sides by 5. Since I'm dividing by a positive number, I don't have to flip my inequality sign. I should just get x is greater than 7. Based on this information, it's telling me that x has to be larger than 7. 5 is not it, 6 is not it, and keep in mind, it doesn't have an equal sign on the bottom here. So we're not talking about x is greater than or equal to 7. This is simply saying x is greater than 7. So it can't be 7. Your correct answer is 8. That's the number that is in the solution set. That's the number that makes this inequality true. 8 is in fact greater than 7. All right, take a look at the second one. Pause the video, try this one out, and then come back to see if you got it right. The first thing I'm looking for is whether I can do distributive property and then trying to simplify on both sides. Looks like distributive property is going to happen here. I'm going to multiply the -2 times x and the -2 times -5. Mind that -2 times -5, that should give you a positive 10. Now that I have that positive 10, I'm going to move it to the other side. I'm using my inverse operations to isolate the variable, so subtract 10 from both sides. As my last step, I need to divide both sides by -2. That should put an alarm bell that goes off in your head. If I'm dividing by a negative number, that means I'm flipping the inequality sign to its opposite. End up with the solution of x is greater than 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and my less than turns into a greater than because I've divided by a negative number. Now, looking at all of the answers, I know that x has to be greater than 3, which means it's not 0, 2, or 3. Remember, it doesn't have the equal sign here. It's got to be choice 4. Number 5. All right, look at that third one there. Pause that video, try it out, and then come back to see if you got it right. To determine which value is in the solution set, I'm going to solve this by adding 5 to both sides using my inverse operations. Subtracted that 5 from both sides. Now I'm going to divide both sides by -2. Again, alarm bell should go off in your head. I'm dividing by a negative, which means I'm flipping my inequality sign. That's my answer. I get x is less than, right, not greater than anymore because I divided by a negative, -6. 12 divided by -2 is -6. Looking at all the answers, only one of them is going to be correct. It's going to make the inequality true. That means it's going to be the value in the solution set, and that's -8. -8 is the only number here that is less than -6. It's smaller than -6. Moving on to the last problem, which value of x is the solution of this? Looks like we have variables on both sides, so you know what to do with that. Pause the video and then come back to see if you got it right. My first step here is going to be to move the smaller variable term to the other side. So I got a -5x, that's smaller than -2x. I'm going to add 5x to both sides to eliminate this -5x. Don't lose track of that negative sign. I have -3 here, which means this is a -3. The -5x is gone, but the -3 remains. -2 plus 5 is 3, and 6 comes along for the ride. Now I'm going to isolate the x by getting rid of this 6 first, and then the 3. I get rid of plus 6 by subtracting 6. -9 is greater than 3x. Now I'm dividing both sides by 3 to get my final answer, the value of x, or the values of x. Notice I divided by 3. 3 is positive. I understand that -9 is negative, so you might have thought, oh, I should flip the sign. But the thing that you're dividing by, the number you're dividing by, if it's positive, you don't flip the inequality sign. You're only flipping the inequality sign if you're dividing by a negative, like we did in this problem. Divide by +3, I get -3. -9 divided by 3 is -3. And then these 3's eliminate, so I'm just left with x. So I'm looking at -3 is bigger than x. In order for me to think about this effectively, I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to rewrite it as x. Since x is the smaller of the two values here, -3 is bigger, I'm going to say x is smaller than -3. Whenever you rewrite an inequality in the opposite way, you got to rewrite the inequality sign in the opposite way as well. The mouth has to still be eating the larger value. So now x is smaller than -3. We found our answer. The number that's smaller than -3 is, of course, -4. That was the video on interpreting solutions to inequalities from Lesson 5 review. This is for the Unit 3 on inequalities. Good luck studying.